go ahead and use the manual system of using the fax, but with some sort of improvement.
Okay. Well, so the number 2 person on the ballot paper, the flag bearer of the largest opposition, undoubtedly, in this country, has mentioned that he has no confidence in the Electoral Commission. He would not accept the results of a flawed election. That's way ahead of the election that we are going to have in 2020. How come that you have not been able to build confidence such that we'll have the flag bearer of the NDC says that he has no confidence in you?
Let me state it this way. When you look at the processes, election is a process. You do registration, you do exhibition, you do the transfer, the process, a lot of things you do. You are a media person. You have been doing this work for a while. Let's give it to the public. Let the public judge. These are the processes. In which specific area is there a problem? So when you look at the structures, the way we do it in Ghana, flawed election is an anomaly, or some would say an antithesis of the system we are. You can never have a flawed election the way our system operates. When you even look at the current CI we are operating with, the CI even talks about a regional coalition officer who will be in charge of the resource. We have, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission is the returning officer of only the presidential election. Then when you go to the constituencies, the returning officers there, they are in charge. So the chairperson, being the returning officer of the presidential election, before the chairperson will have access to the resource, all the constituencies, the regions, they have seen it. So we are the last people to see the resource. So when people talk about flawed elections, I think that they are only imagining something, because the reality is that our system is such that registration, exhibition, ballot for each constituency, then from each constituency for each polling station, the parties have their agents on the ground. And as far as you and I are concerned, MPP, NDC, for all the almost 40,000 polling stations we are going to use, we expect that they are going to have their agents on the ground. So when you look at it, flawed election, it cannot be part of us. And I use a certain phrase which I got from the Bible, let it be far from us, that our names will be associated with a flawed election. It can never happen, and it's not going to happen. And when you look at the measures and the mechanisms we have put in place, everything is set. We've informed the parties. Look at the printing. I told you yesterday a letter was written. A deputy chairman of operations put the letter, signed, sent to the parties that we are going to print. Okay. We are going to print the ballot papers. Make sure your agents are there, and make sure your agents are there till the exercise finish. But
hearing him say that he has no confidence in you, does it not raise any concerns for you? Are you working behind the scenes to restore any confidence?
But the issue is this. It's very simple. Let's ask ourselves, have we changed the electoral process in such a way that you will not have confidence in the results? It is the same process. It is the same process.
Nothing has changed.
Yes, nothing has changed. So unless they can tell us that we have changed the electoral process, then we can actually be in a position to say that the outcome of the results may not reflect the will of the people. But it is the same process. So what have we changed? That answers the question. The same process. So what has changed?
By hearing this, does it worry you in any way?
No, it doesn't worry us in any way, because we know the issue is that you and I, the very good people of Ghana, they all know that this is the system that we are using, this is the process that we are using. So if someone should sit somewhere and then be saying that the system, then that person can actually be a laughingstock rather. Because if everybody is attesting to the fact that the commission is actually going by the processes and even improving upon it, then what is the beef about it?
We're told that you've packed IPAC with dormant political parties just to help the governing party, I'm sure, when it comes to maybe voting during your IPAC meetings.
In fact, these parties have been in existence for quite a long time. So why do we actually, are we the people who form political parties? No, it is not the commission which forms political parties. They apply, they go through a process, then we give them certificate. and they have been in existence till 2020.
You've revived them. You've revived them.
So why do we pack?
Maybe the resurrection.
Yes, there's a resurrection.
However, you know, we have is it 27 parties in our books.
Yes.
Since I have been here, no, this is my 3rd year. IPAC, the newest member I remember has to do with GUM. Apart from when is it popular?
I think Ghana Raising Party.
Ghana Raising Party, but they have not been attending IPAC meetings regularly. So I think that for us, now we are building a democracy, and we are the frontliners when it comes to our electoral democracy. So I think that when we hear some of these comments, we understand the nature of our politics. We are only committed to doing the right thing. Okay. So former president saying that shouldn't worry us. We understand by the works we are doing, people should be able to see it and judge.
But considering his large following, and if we continue to make such comments, it appears that his followers will also not have confidence in the work that you're going to do.
I think that the NDC knows that we are doing the right thing. They know that everything we are doing is on point. The balloting.
Then why would they say something else publicly?
No, that's why I said the politicians engage in politics as usual. No, there are certain things when they say in U.S. politics, they will normally say, give the people red meat, get them to be energized so that they can do what they want to do. We understand all the politicians, that's what they do. They have what they say depending on where they find themselves. That's why I said ours is a sacred responsibility, and we've got to make sure we treat it as such. If people are saying they don't have confidence, the work you are doing, so let your work speak. And the work we are doing, we strongly believe that the work will speak. If somebody says you are a Nigerian and you know you are a Ghanaian, I don't think that should be a source of concern. And as far as the commission is concerned, go to the district. We have officers who are working hard, the regions officers who are working hard. We are going to appoint people who they will go through an interview process. So let me be very frank. This is not a centralized election, so it's so decentralized. And I made a point that before the results will get to the chairperson, who is the returning officer of the presidential election, then all Ghanaians would have heard it. But Joy, 2016, didn't you declare the winner of the presidential?
It was a projection.
Okay, you projected the winner of the presidential election. And I remember Joy saying that after all this, when nothing can change, you declare. That means the system, we have an embedded transparency in the system.
For us to also follow.
So basically, although you say you didn't declare, I understood that.
We projected. It's still a projection. It's not a declaration.
It's announcement.
It's not our duty to announce. We only projected. We'll talk about ROPAL. But staying on issues about IPAC, is IPAC meeting still as heated as it used to be? Or everything is calm now?
I think IPAC, IPAC has always been very, very progressive, except when we put it out there that the commission wanted to do a new register, which was to be expected because parties had entrenched position. But since then, things have been going very well. We've been, even during the registration, we had an IPAC meeting about registering students in the secondary schools. Apart from that, we've had several other meetings. So I think it's been very, very progressive. So when we hear parties have been resurrected, etc., we are surprised because we think that things are going very well, and it's likely we'll have another IPAC before the elections come. So as far as we are concerned, things are going well. And regarding ROPA, ROPA requires a constitutional instrument, which the EC sent that instrument to Parliament. But the Parliament, I don't know if they have some issues with it. They want to look at it and do their own investigation, etc. But as far as we are concerned, we are determined that after these elections, a lot of things will have to be done to ensure that Ghanaians abroad, because of...
Will they vote this year?
No, they will not vote.
They will not
because
vote.
They didn't register. But by 2024, we are fully convinced that those in the diplomatic mission, everyone will be captured.
But if, assuming that someone actually registered here, the person can still use the proxy facility to vote.
Yes. Okay, so once you are outside Ghana and you registered during this particular, just ended exercise.
Well, some of them came to register.
Yes, okay.
So you can use the proxy.
Okay, to vote. Well, but you've been accused of silencing every voice of reason by appointing them to be part of the advisory committee, Eminent advisory committee that was put together by this current administration. We have the Peace Council, all the people that are supposed to be the independent voices of reason. You've co-opted them to be part of an eminent advisory committee. So now it appears that everything else that happens, we don't have anybody to go to speak up about it. They are on your side. Is that the case?
I completely
is that the case?
I disagree. That's not the case. The reason why it's not the case is that when you are talking of eminent persons in this country, I think there are a lot. And I don't know if people are saying they are only located in Accra. There are a lot. You go to almost all the eminent, they are not there to endorse illegalities or ill motive actions of the EC. They call us when the things are not, everything we do, we discuss with them during the registration. No, the argument we put out there was a scientific argument. It wasn't an argument the EC said that, oh, we feel like changing the register. We put out the argument, and I'm convinced that we have been vindicated. When you look at what we have been able to accomplish, the decision to do the register, if we had to do it again, we will still go ahead and do it. But we have been completely vindicated. And when you look at, if we had not done this, I mean, but you know, the register has 16.8 million Ghanaians and another 800,000 Ghanaians on exceptions and multiple list. You put together, that's 17.6. Then excluding those who are 10-18 and were ready to register, and those in the population who have not even registered. And that one, when we estimated, it was going to be between 2 million and 3 million. And this current row, the 18-year-olds who registered, more, even that alone, more than 1 million. So if we had not done this and we had done a limited registration, we were on track to reach over 20 million. And that would mean our register will have about 66 to 67% registered. But with this, we are within the ECOWAS threshold. We are about 54-point-something%, which is excellent for a country that politically we are very, very active with a maturing political culture.
And interestingly, that's...
I was just going to add something to the Eminent Advisory Committee. You see, the question is, are they saying that those people cannot think for themselves? For them to come and then sit down, and then whatever the EC says, then they go to it. No, it's just an insult. Such an eminent people working with the EC, then people tend to read beanies. So are they not mature enough to think for themselves and then tell the EC that what you are doing is correct or wrong or what?
But it's interesting that this members of this Eminent Advisory Committee, you do not have the previous commissioners and their deputies, whom we know most of them are still alive. Are you working with Mr. Farijan, for instance? Madame Charlotte Osei was the previous one. At least we learn from experience, people have said. But it doesn't appear that you still have that kind of experience from the former commissioners bringing on board to the new commission. Do you still have a relationship with these former commissioners? I
think in terms of relationship, there are some we do call them once in a while, and sometimes to some
How come they are not part of the advisory committee? You don't need the advice?
The thinking of the commission in setting up the Eminent Advisory Committee had more to do with civil society. We had a more civil society focus. Have people from religious background, have people from civil society background, have people from, so you could see we even have some people who identify with certain political parties. In terms of the commission's work, the commission is an institution. We have individuals who have the institutional memory in getting things done. Don't forget that the current commissioners, 3 of them, one of them started from 2004. And I know the others 2008, so we have that institutional memory. So when we did the analysis, we targeted specific people with some religious. So we have some Muslims on board, we have Christians on board, civil society. Even within the religious group, we have different Pentecostal, this, etc. Okay. So that was the thinking. So what we set out to do, we had a program in place. We were able to get people. So those people are not representing themselves.
Okay.
They are representing constituencies. So when it's the people from the Pentecostal, you have your people, when there is something, you explain to them. From the Islamic community, you have some, those from civil society. So I think the CEO of the Abantu for Development, so those were the things we put in place.
I know you don't have too much time. We're wrapping up at this point, but I would want to find out what's the next step after voter transfer. What's going to happen? What are the plans in place, 43 days to the big day?
Yes, the next thing that we have to do is the printing of the ballots. And with EMAC 7 printing houses, they will start printing the ballots. We have written to the political parties, those candidates who qualified, then the BNI, Ghana Police Service as well as the National Security to be at the printing houses. So when we have finished with the printing of the ballots, we will send them to the regional police armories to be sent to the district police armories on the eve of the elections day, when they will actually send them to the various police stations. We also have the logistics aspect. We have actually procured all our materials needed for the elections, and we have some few to be deployed to the regions and other things. Then we'll also be going into the training of our officials, who will be manning the polling stations on election day, and we have levels of training, the KTT, the TUT, as well as the grassroots, and that one in about a week's time. We'll start from 3rd of November. We'll unroll that training program. So with these activities, all geared towards the 2020 presidential parliamentary. The other thing is the early voting, which we are also compiling the list of the people who are mandated by law to take part in the early voting, which is the security services, the media, and then election officials. So that will be on the 1st of December. So by Sunday, we might have completed the list so that we can actually have the early voting on the 1st of November. So basically, with respect to printing of ballots, our logistics requirements and deployment to the regions, the training of our officials and other things, we have the plan of the EC, and we are on course towards the 7th December.
Did COVID affect the preparations, the plans in any way?
COVID, definitely, since registration, the Commission actually put in place a lot of measures, to deal with the COVID, and you are all aware of the measures. It will be the same, on election day. We will still have the COVID ambassador. We have all the COVID materials and other things, the protocols in place and all that. So it's not going to deviate from what we did during the registration as well as the exhibition. Okay, so persons with disabilities, pregnant women, the aged, during the exhibition, we know that we had special plans for them. Is it going to happen during voting? The vulnerables, during voting, we have some measures. In the first place, district officers have been asked not to cite, polling stations at areas which will be difficult for the disability to go. And that one, we did it some time back. Then the second one is to give them the opportunity to vote when they get to the polling stations, because they are not expected to join the queue. So on the day of the election, the vulnerables, the pregnant women, the persons with disability and all those, they are given the preference. They don't actually join the queue. In some cases, they even form their own queue so that they will be attended to.
So will we still be required to wear masks on the day?
Yes. All the COVID safety measures are in place. So we are providing sanitizer, Veronica buckets, thermometer guns. We have an officer, as you mentioned, we have a COVID ambassador at each polling station whose job is to ensure that before you join the queue, your temperature should have been taken. You need to wash your hands. All the safety measures are in place. We want to assure all people that their safety is very, very paramount to the Commission. So they should go there knowing very well that they are safe.
So I have the person in charge of operations and the person in charge of corporate services with us tonight. How much is it costing us to conduct this election?
In terms of cost, the process is ongoing, and there are some few things we are yet to finish in terms of the quantities. I just told you that we are going to have a reduced threshold. The polling station sizes are going to reduce from 850, the peak, to about 700. So that will mean we have to increase the number of polling stations. And when you are increasing, for every polling station, you are going to employ 6 individuals. And the Commission is likely going to increase the number of polling stations by about 6,000. So that will mean 6 times 6,000. So we need to do all this calculation. So,
but how much are you estimating?
In terms, it will be too premature for me to say something. But one thing this Commission has been able to do is that everything we do, we insist on value for money. So when you look at the current values of things we are buying in terms of the prices, they are far, far lower than previous Yes, because we always insist on value for money. And
so
that was
once we are talking about value for money, you have an office, the new office building sitting there at Ridge somewhere. When are you moving into it?
Very soon.
Very soon.
It's yet to be
Before the
completed.
election?
Oh, yes.
You can see
Before the election?
Oh, yes.
Before the election. You can see the building from outside and looking very nice.
Very nice.
But there will be certain.
But it's sitting there. Are we getting value for money?
We've been going there.
Yeah,
No, we've been
really?
going there. We've been going there. We were there 3 days ago. We've been going there.
I'm hoping to get a tour.
where
The place is getting ready.
Okay.
It's
So
almost
we are
getting-
finalizing.
Hopefully, we'll declare the results from the new office.
That's too early.
That's too early to say.
but we'll be there before the election for that
Okay,
one.
okay. Well, but your safety is our concern as we wrap up, because these are not ordinary times. Is everything in place for you? Are you safe? Do you feel safe?
No, I feel safe. I think safe, and I believe my colleague, all of us, we think, and we know the man above is protecting us. We know we are doing the right thing, so he will make sure that we are protected and humanly possible. We also have to be very careful, so we take all the precautionary measures to make sure that we understand the exigencies of the time, and we believe that we must make sure we are doing things right. So the commission will assure all Ghanaians that everything is on track, and we are going to have the best elections in the history of this great republic.
Do you feel safe? Are you safe?
Oh, yes. I believe in the fact that once you think you are doing the right thing and you are very transparent, even the person who is against you knows that you are transparent. But probably at times it is certain things which are pushing them. You know, some of them, you know, they can actually tell you that, in fact, left to me alone, I wouldn't have done this, you know. But for the party, so a whole lot of
people are pushing me to
a whole lot of things.
Are you able to go to church and do things normally? Because I know you go to church a lot, but within this period, are you able to go to church? You have people from both parties who are your church members, you know,
I think
lobbying and all.
Ghanaians have gotten to the point where they know the politicians.
Okay.
Or they know that at time when they say the thing is red, it's not always the case that the thing is actually red. We need to be very clear there. So the supporters of parties themselves understand that, you know, their parties, you know, I like to use this colloquial where wonky. People are very partisan in the way they look at things. So people understand. That's why you are a media person, but you vote. So the fact that you vote for people does not mean you like everything they say. So let's be very clear. So, and I think politicians must understand that when you are saying certain things, you are speaking to the generality of the population. So you need to be very careful the choice of words, because people know that those of us who work at the Electoral Commission. Mrs. Jane Mensah has been in public life for many, many years. Mr. Tete has been working in this commission for over 25 years. I have been in public. Before coming here, I was doing something publicly.
You miss academia?
Oh, yes. Okay. I still do examining of thesis. So the point is that we are okay. So I think we are okay.
Well, you've been described as a disrespectful person.
Oh, you MFI, you know it's not true. At least you have known me from close range, and you know it's not true. You know, we say it is as it is. This is the job. If it's true, it's true. If it's not true, and the Electoral Commission will not set out to do anything to disadvantage any political. No, we will never do that. The chairperson will not allow that. Operations will not allow. I will not allow. The commission itself will not allow. Okay. Why would you? We are all Ghanaians building a system, and you want to disadvantage one party? No. It ain't going to happen.
Okay, it ain't going to happen. On that note, we bring to an end this evening's edition of The Probe. Mr. Tete, everything is in place. We are sure that December 7th, everything will be fine. Very, very sure. So we are assuring the people of Ghana, all qualified voters, to get to their polling stations very early. The security is putting in place all the measures to make the polling stations safe for every voter to go. So come 7th December, all qualified voters should troop to the polling stations to cast their vote in peace. Thank you very much. That's the man in charge of operations. He's a Deputy Commissioner of the Electoral Commission, Mr. Samuel Tete. Thank you so much. We also had the man in charge of corporate services. He's a Deputy Commissioner, Dr. Eric Asari. Thank you so much. And I'm sure that within this period, we'll be coming to you very often. So please stand by for us. Thank you so much. And we wish you the very best. That's it for tonight's edition of The Probe. I am MFR Paul. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. A walk with Jesus is up next. Do stay.